Hi everyone, my name is Sheyda, and I am a proud member of the Wharton MBA Class of 2020. Thanks for tuning in from your couches, your kitchens, maybe you're on a walk. I'm here in my living room and you can't see it, but my 4 crazy roommates are right behind this camera cheering me on as I take on this ambitious risk to be your graduation speaker. I never thought of myself as someone who embraced risks. But after coming to Wharton, I've learned to appreciate life's challenges. I've learned that I do take risks, big and small, head on. We all do. We all took the risk of coming to business school, taking time out of the workforce. Would the debt be worth it? Would we make those lifelong friends? We took a huge leap, but it was absolutely a risk worth taking. Looking back at my growth over the past 2 years, I think about this time I let my friends convince me I should jump off these 10-foot cliffs into these huge bodies of water in the Philippines. I'm terrified of swimming. Yet they were always right in front of me, cheering me on when I had the courage to jump, with life jackets, of course. I think about that time I took corporate finance as a second year, alongside all those first-year banking and finance experts. I was so lost and confused so much of the time. I remember so vividly one day I wanted to ask a question, and everything in my stomach told me not to do it. But a small risk, but a risk nonetheless. I raised my hand really timidly, halfway. Maybe the professor didn't see me. And to probably nobody's surprise, the world didn't end, but it was scary. But the more and more I forced myself to ask those questions, the more and more I became comfortable with being nervous. When my mom was 18, she had to risk her entire life because she thought she would have a better one in the US. It was 1979, and in her home country of Iran, there was a revolution. She could no longer dress how she wanted to or study what she wanted to in school. And once her and her family realized that they would never return back to a state of normalcy or back to a place they once called home, they packed up their things and started a new life in America. My mom had to learn new skills and raise a family in an unfamiliar place. She had to lose some of her culture to assimilate, but seeing where my brother and I ended up, it was a risk worth taking. Unfortunately, she passed away unexpectedly 2 days before I was set to start college. Now I was 18 years old and was facing the biggest risk of my life yet. I had to make a decision. Do I defer my first year of college, stay home with my family and seek comfort in my bed? Or do I take the risk of starting a new chapter? Of starting school and not knowing what the future would look like? Risking breaking down in tears when I made new friends at a welcome mixer? Risking no longer feeling that sense of security if I failed? Well, I learned from my mom that these challenges are worth overcoming. And because of her, I pushed forward and I started school not knowing where I would land. I used to think risks were scary and overwhelming. But at Wharton, risks became exciting, and I found myself over the 2 years looking for ways to stretch myself. I'm only one story, and I'm consistently impressed and inspired by the risks our classmates take. Thank you to all those brave speakers who shared their deeply personal stories as storytellers. To my more creative classmates who are risking it all to pursue their own dreams and companies. I think about the partners who had their own risks and challenges to support their families. And to the international students who had to make a new city their home and had to figure out why Americans love Philly cheesesteaks. I'm with you on that one. Now is the time we get to take the greatest risks of all. Why? Because not only are we, like all of the graduates who have come before us, trying to make a name for ourselves and a living for our family, not only are we trying to create innovative solutions to the world's existing problems, Not only has this crisis exposed the incredible inequalities that exist in our society, but now we're being asked to lead in this unprecedented uncertainty. We are the managers, the CEOs, founders, professors, and community leaders who will motivate our colleagues and our friends to show up to work every day, inspire them to keep moving forward, and lift this mood that's permeating our lives these days. Sure, it's daunting. I'm scared. But we have what it takes. Our 2 years have made sure of that. We've pushed through physical and mental limits, through ventures and team projects, through joining D-League sports teams. We learned how to give believable answers in class when we were entirely unprepared and then cold called on. Most importantly, we learned how to lead authentically, from each other, from our professors and administrators, and from ourselves. We have what it takes to take this next step. And somehow it's already time for us to graduate. Sure, we don't get that in-person ceremony or that warm congratulatory hug from our favorite professors, but we've already learned how to bond, show support, and make new memories in this Zoom and blue jeans era. What we've learned in both the classroom and over the past few months, we are a class that has been tried time and time again, and each time have overcome these challenges head on. The grit, empathy, and confidence we have built as a community sure do represent leadership. I define a leader as someone who can act when things aren't clear, when a path isn't set. That time is now more than ever. So, go be the leaders that you were made to be, and the leaders we deserve. Thank you. I'll see you guys soon.